Everyone wanted to love the new Bratz games. Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style are some of the first Bratz games to have been licensed in 10 years. And Bratz is kind of going through a revival right now. I mean, the stars are aligned for this to succeed in every way. But somehow, even amidst all the bright colors and peppy music, walking through the streets of Stylesville feels only slightly more entertaining than doing your taxes. What happened? Why do these games feel so dull and lifeless? It would be very easy to just sweep the whole thing under the nobody cares about girly games umbrella, it was all just a cash grab umbrella. I mean, both of those things are true, but as a game designer, I prefer to dig a little bit deeper. I mean, you can still make a cheap cash grab game that's fun to play. Honey, how do you think the mobile industry took off? Unfortunately for Bratz fans, the makers of Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style made a single game design decision that was so awful, it ruined the entire play experience. Fortunately for me, it's the kind of awful that's so weird and interesting, I've been able to make an entire video about it. Believe it or not, the culprit of this entire fiasco may just be the camera. I'm not talking about the camera that you take so many pointless side quest selfies with. What I'm talking about is the eye, the lens, the thing that frames the whole game for you. You know, not a lot of people pay attention to in-game cameras, but where that thing is pointed, how it works, and how it moves has an enormous effect on whether or not a game is fun. You might not believe me just yet, but wait until you hear the full breakdown. In fact, wait until you see a direct comparison between these games' cameras and the ones from the 2005 Bratz Rock Angels, which is a far more beloved Bratz game, and you will see how much a difference a point of view makes. So, how does the camera from Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style actually work? Most people would call this top-down. I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory what that is. The camera is floating above the characters and environment and pointing down. With this top-down angle, you can't see the horizon, the camera doesn't have to move as much, and also a wall or like an obstacle that would normally block eye-level vision, it doesn't block the top-down vision. So a lot more of the player character's immediate area is visible. Cozy game fans know this angle very well. It makes everything look tiny, cute, and perfect for decorating. Every cozy gamer's favorite activity. Oh, but hang on a minute. You literally can't decorate anything in Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style. The objective of these games has nothing to do with modifying your environment. It has to do with traversing from place to place in order to complete your quests. Which means the only thing that the player gets to look at for most of the game is nothing but a big ol' slab of pavement. I think we're beginning to see the problem. Oh, but I'm not done yet. The top-down angle has one more nasty little trick up her sleeve, and the fact that the developers didn't catch this is truly baffling. Here it is. Are you ready? This is my dolly. Can you see what she's wearing? How about now? That's right, folks. The cameras skew the visibility of important objects. Every storefront, every doorway, every tree, and every piece of clothing the character is wearing. This is a game about Bratz, the girls with a passion for fashion, and I can't see what my girl Chloe is wearing because the whole fit is being eclipsed by her giant fucking forehead. Okay, that was mean. That was body shaming. She can't help that she's sculpted that way. Now here's the really interesting part, okay? Because like I said, cozy games use that top-down angle and they have the exact same skewing problem, but they employ a variety of cool tricks to counteract it. Obviously, the simplest fix is to give the players some control so they can adjust the angle themselves, boom. But if you are extra brilliant, you find a way to tilt the world's objects subtly away from the viewer so the facade is more visible. The Animal Crossing games are particularly great at this. The entire world is designed to roll on a cylinder, so everything that's like facing you is towards the top of the screen, and then as it reaches towards the bottom, it'll sort of like, it'll shear. It's so cool. Honestly, doesn't really have anything to do with Bratz, but I just wanted to fucking talk about it because it's cool. The devs of Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style clearly wanted to copy this cozy game camera, but for some reason, they didn't bother to also copy any of these very important techniques. So, if you're wondering how a poorly placed camera can completely destroy any hope a player would have of having fun, there's your answer. But now let's step back about 20 years to a game that fans might actually remember enjoying. I'm speaking, of course, about the PS2 classic, Bratz Rock Angels. The gameplay loop is really almost identical to Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style. You are still doing those quests where you're traversing from place to place and kind of trying to progress the story. And I would bet money that the devs were kind of trying to make these a spiritual sequel to these. And yet, the games feel wildly different. Why is that? Well, the top-down angle of Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style kind of ruined those games. This camera angle is really helping Rock Angels feel more fun. Here we're gonna notice the camera is placed right about eye level of the player character, and it's following and swinging around you as you turn. And there's not an exact name for this angle. We might call it over the shoulder, we might call it third person. There's a lot of variants that you can get in these angles, but keep in mind specifically how this camera moves. That's what makes it very distinct. Here we can observe a lot more movement. And even though we can't see everything in our peripherals very well, we can see everything directly in front of us, including the very distant horizon. Now, this is the camera employed in pretty much every 3D platformer and adventure game. Because the eye is perceiving so much more motion, everything feels very reactive and dynamic. And you might think it's a drawback that you can't see what's in your periphery, but that means players are encouraged to explore more. You want to look around corners and see what's there. You want to discover things. And since the horizon is visible, this is my favorite part, even though the walkable area of the map is really small, because the player can see these sort of distant mountains or buildings or things very, very far away, it makes the world feel bigger. And finally, lest we forget, you can actually see what every character is wearing. Ding, 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 ding. I mean, you can't see it when she's facing away from you, then you can only see a lot of hair, but you could turn around. At this point, like, it does feel morally wrong. Like, it does feel truly cruel to keep shitting on Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style. Like, I'm gonna do it, but like, I feel bad. Let's talk about camera interpolation. Interpolation is just a fancy way of saying moving between 2 points. The new Bratz games have this incredibly awkward, jerky camera movement because it's interpolating around the world without any easing whatsoever. Unless you're making a horror game, sudden, jerky movements are bad, okay? They just make everything feel unpolished. That is why most developers will make some kind of effort to make everything feel smooth and add transitions and ease things, okay? So menus, when you select a menu, it's going to fade in, it's going to fade out. It's not just going to appear like a bam. Or if a character is running and they stop running, they slow to a stop a little bit. They don't just like freeze and like shoot straight to their idle position because it looks weird. Like that's awkward. Rock Angels is absolutely incredible at this. Look at how smooth that camera movement is. You can just see it sliding around like a pat of butter on a hot skillet. It is such an elegant effect. Why, it probably took a whole team of people to implement. It took them weeks to put into the game. Nope, it's actually just one line of code. Here it is. Yes, smooth camera interpolation is laughably easy to implement, but they didn't. This entire time, I've been trying to give the developers the benefit of the doubt, okay? Because making games is a lot of work. It's hard to put out a quality product, but Jesus Christ, all you had to do was write one line of code. Help me help you. Help me help you. At this point, you know Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style definitely dropped the ball, and now you know how they did it, but maybe you still don't know why. And I've been trying to hint at the broader issue throughout this video. Brand tie-in games are usually made fast, cheap, and by copying whatever genre is trending. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think the genre you copy needs to fit the brand. With the modern Bratz games, it's obvious they were trying to follow the trend of cozy games like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. That's why they picked the top-down camera, which created so many problems, in addition to several other bad design choices meant to mimic cozy game convention. But here's the thing, Bratz are just not cozy. They are not soft or safe or soothing. From day one, these dolls have been countercultural. They have courted controversy. You can read piles of articles from the early 2000s of just like every single adult and parent and teacher just hating them. Their lips were labeled too big, their clothes were too slutty or too ghetto, and yet 30% market share in 5 years. They made Mattel absolutely shit their pants, I'll tell you that. Turns out, not everybody who likes dolls wants to play with a happy blonde Barbie. And not everybody who likes girly games wants to run their own cozy farm. The Bratz dolls and their style and their show and the old video games and the whole world is so attractive to fans because it's not afraid to push the envelope a little bit. If the next Bratz game isn't willing to do the same, then we're just wasting everybody's time. A good camera angle isn't gonna fix anything. That is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I know what you guys are thinking about the fit today, by the way. Especially the hair, like it is kind of giving Martha Mayhew Spring Summer 26. Every whore down in Whoville is living for the fit, and so am I. I don't care. I don't care if I look insane. I like it. If you think there's anything else in the Bratz games, new or old, that you think deserves a deep dive, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And if you want to see more game design analysis of like cool and weird and girly games, please stick around because that's the only thing I talk about. Okay, bye.